Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esdin Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Quick explanation. I'm laying on the recliner because I just had ACL surgery, so I have the full robot leg, full reconstruction, up to the hip, all the way down to the ankle. So this is kind of the setup for the foreseeable future, but we still have to get these videos out, baby. Hashtag grind. Anywho, let's get right into it. Mike Mayock, the former Raiders general manager, just revealed in the Greenlight podcast that back in 2019, he called the Jets on draft day to trade for Quinnen Williams, of course, the spot that Quinnen Williams would have gone in. And it's fascinating. I love hearing these old draft stories. Let's roll the footage. Let's hear the clip and react to it. Pretty cool stuff. Also, you guys can check out the full article down below that's got all the trade details and all this other stuff in it. So here we go.
Everything you did well, everything you did poorly, and you need to learn from that. And you got to be honest with yourself, which is kind of where you're coming from here.
Yeah.
The whole Klee thing, Klee was my guy. The coaching staff really wanted a defensive lineman. We were picking number 4 that year in 2019. And I knew the first 3 picks were going to be Kyler Murray 1, Bosa 2 to San Francisco, and Quinnen Williams 3 to the Jets. And then 4, Chris, I'm telling you, the morning of the first round, I called John Lynch and tried to move up to 2.
That would have made it easier.
Well, I mean,
right?
Bosa, it's funny because you probably saw Steve Keim the other day was on a show and was talking about Bosa being chirping in the building. Bosa was great. We all loved him. And he told me a variation of what he told Keim. He was leaving our building after the 30 visit. And I said, Nick, we're picking 4. You're not going to be there. He said, well, then you need to move the fuck up, don't you?
I like that.
And I loved him. He was a little bit chirpy and a little bit cocky, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know? And we did. We tried to move up to 2 and didn't get him. We tried to move up to 3 to get Quinnen Williams, and Jets said no. I tried to trade down. You know, fans always say, well, just move down. Well, you know, you need a friggin' partner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we tried to trade down with everybody, and nobody wanted to come up to 4. Yeah. And I kind of told John the day before the draft, that was what was going to happen. We're going to be sitting at 4, not being able to move.
That's interesting. Again, that draft story, Mike Mayock, that's from the Greenlight podcast, hosted by Chris Long. And again, me personally, I love these old draft stories. They're fascinating. And think about it. And you can also, like I said, all the details are down below, because here are the draft stories I heard. In the 2019 NFL draft, in the build-up, the Jets were hell-bent on trading back. Remember, that was the last Mike Maccagnan draft before Joe Douglas would take over. Mike Maccagnan would be fired shortly after this draft, but at least he left as a little present, which is Quinnen Williams, who turned out to be the superstar. But more on that later. Heading into that draft, Mike Maccagnan was very open that they've had trade conversations to slide back. Remember, the Jets were missing some picks, and they wanted to recoup picks. And, of course, the Jets were the Jets. They needed more holes to fill. So Mike Maccagnan had several trade conversations. The spiciest one I heard, and like I said, it's in the article down below too, is the Buffalo deal. So Buffalo was sitting at 9. Buffalo ended up going with Ed Oliver, but they had interest in Quinnen Williams. So Buffalo potentially trading up to 3 to get him. Raiders were at 4, just trying to do the pick swap thing, a pick ahead to get him. And there was a lot of momentum, like, oh my God, this is going to happen. But ultimately, from what I heard, especially on the Buffalo side, I don't know on the Raiders side, the specific details, but on the Buffalo side, you know, it was the Jets weren't going to get proper trade value back according to the draft value chart. And the Jets, even Mike Maccagnan, respect him, you know, he wasn't going to just trade to trade. He only wanted to trade if he could get a good deal. Obviously, he did not. And then a division rival, my own personal take is, if you're trading with a division rival, there is a tax. If the draft value chart says it's worth this many points, well, it's worth this many points plus this, in my mind, if I'm trading with a division rival. Because, again, if you get it wrong, they're giving you the business in the next 10 years. Quinnen Williams, can you imagine Quinnen Williams on the Bills defensive line instead of Ed Oliver? Ed Oliver's been a fine player, but he hasn't lived up to the number 9 overall pick. Quinnen Williams, a late bloomer, just burst on the scene last year. 12 sacks. Okay, hit the quarterback a bunch of times. Pro Bowler, All Pro. He checked off all the boxes. Can you imagine that in Buffalo's division? And all you would have given up is straight up value? Hell no. Hell no. Not up in here. That ain't happening. So, absolutely fascinating story. And the Raiders gave the Jets a call, a last second pitch. Hey, man, And who knows what happens? Look at just those two teams, but obviously expands out greater than that. The Raiders, crap. We can't trade up for Nick Bosa, which the 49ers pick had. Crap. We can't trade up with the Jets for Quinnen. I mean, let's try to trade back. No one wants to trade back. I guess we'll take Cleveland Farrell, and he's been a disappointment in the NFL. So, again, the line is so short. And I'll also say this, that Quinnen Williams was a disappointment early. He had 2.5 sacks his rookie season. I think we all remember, and it looks funny now, the Bucky Brooks comment from NFL Network where he said that Quinnen's been a major disappointment in the NFL. He bashed the guy and said that, look, we fell for a flasher. That, again, the tweets in the article too, you guys can check it out. And look at him now. So Bucky, we're like, whoa. And Nicole Lynn, I remember her going after Bucky saying, excuse me, this is the worst take you've ever had, boy. And I love it. I love her firing back at him. And now Quinnen Williams is going to be a stud. He's going to be the highest paid player in Jets history when that contract comes out. Highest paid player in total value, highest paid player in guarantees, and highest paid player in a per year basis. Goes to show you how fine that line is, guys. Of if the Jets would have said, let's just trade back. They don't get Quinnen, someone else gets Quinnen. Who knows who the Jets get? NFL history, the NFL. What coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. Thanks for tuning in for this quick video, guys. Again, I love these old draft stories coming out. Mike Mayock had that interview with the Green Light podcast at the end of April. Just my first opportunity to swing back to it. Fascinating stuff. Let us know what you think. And again, Quinnen, what a big piece of this team and a real reason why everyone believes this team can be a Super Bowl contender. Like the video, everybody. Hit subscribe and also check out the full article down below with all the juicy details, baby. Love it. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time right here on